Happy Friday. It's the right Rican. And here we go. What I want to talk about today is I'm always complaining about the media. And the problem with the media is really they want to push an agenda, they don't want to report the news. And what's going on now is with thanks to podcasts, thanks to YouTube, Rumble, all these social media, the legacy media has competition, real competition, and they can't control the narrative like they used to. All right, so I'm going to show you this story from. Let's see which one. There's two stories here. I want to show you because they're related to each other. Um, Here it goes. CNN tanks in viewership, losing nearly 90%, 90% of audience after year fake news pedophilia scandals, right? So let's go through this article real quick. During the first week of the new year, scandal-ridden CNN has seen their viewership drop by a staggering 90% compared to the same week last year. During the week of January 3rd, CNN averaged just 548,000 viewers, a huge drop from the nearly 2.7 million viewers for the time frame in 2021. CNN also lost 89% of its primetime viewers among its key demographic and 91% of viewers ages 18 to 49. Numbers for the week back at the beginning of 2021 bolstered the coverage of the January 6th riot, which resulted in the network making its most watched day since its launch in 1980. Despite the year anniversary occurring during that week, Fox News came out on top, beating CNN and other networks to receive the highest ratings for coverage of the event. Here's my point with this. Why are they tanking? Because they're not reporting news, they're pushing an agenda. And that's what goes on with the media. Here is another here's an article from the Washington Examiner. CNN buries inflation news with nearly 3 times more January 6th coverage. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that they're pushing an agenda. They're pushing an agenda of basically trying to cover up for Biden, covering up his failures of the past year. You have January 6th coverage on the same day as the OSHA, the Supreme Court's ruling on the OSHA mandate. Okay, this is, it's just getting out of hand. I mean, you hear the stuff that's, anyway, no, let me not, I don't want to get into the January 6th news. I want to just focus on CNN, their tanking ratings, and why I'm saying is one of the reasons why their ratings is tanking is because they're pushing an agenda. They're not giving you news, they're giving you their opinion. And that's what's going on. When they're, they want to push the January 6th issue as opposed to pushing other issues because they don't want to make Biden look worse than he already does. Can you imagine how he already has record low approval ratings? Could you imagine if the media didn't hold water for him? Trying to push this here, goes here. Inflation has risen roughly 7% since December 2020, and goods from nearly every industry has seen a sharp price increase. the Department of Labor said Wednesday, but CNN appears to favor coverage of the Capitol attack over America's economic woes. Now, here's the whole thing. They covered, let's say the summer riots, the summer of 2020 riots, but see the difference in coverage with the riots they agree with versus the riots they disagree with. Now, I have people who watched my videos who disagree, calling it a riot. And the only reason I call it a riot is to put it in perspective with what's going on, what happened in 2020. You have, billions of dollars in damages, okay? You have plenty of people killed, okay, with what happened during the summer of 2020. Plenty of people killed, billions of dollars in damages, okay? These were all left-wing protests, well, not protests, left-wing riots, left media-supported riots, okay? You had the vice president and other Democratic officials raising money for bail for these people. You have charges that were dropped once Biden came into office. There was a bunch of charges pending that were dropped by this DOJ because a new administration took over. And that's what's going on right now is you have January 6 people in solitary confinement being tortured in the Capitol prison. And like I said, and charges being dropped by people who burned down buildings the summer of 2020. Now, am I saying that the January 6 people should be let go? No, because we have to see what evidence they have on these people and to see what kind of violence some of these people, the people who committed violent acts on January 6th should go to jail. Anyone who was caught on video attacking police, destroying the barricades, they need to go to jail, period. Same way as I say people caught in the summer of 2020, destroying property, firebombing property, killing people, they should all be in jail. There's I'm consistent in what I'm saying with these people who went too far. And when these protests became riots, those rioters need to be in jail, period. But CNN doesn't have that same consistency. They called them fiery but mostly peaceful protests. Okay, this is what's being covered instead of the news, instead of what's really going on in the country. And like I said, you see the difference in coverage when it's something, when it's a cause they support versus the cause they disagree with. They made excuses, every excuse in the book for the riots in the summer of 2020. And notice, I could tell you January 6th, because there was one day that the protests became violent, okay? And there was protests that went on the 5th. Nothing happened. But you had plenty of violence in the summer of 2020. I can't even give you one day. Because let's say, for example, in Portland, there was like almost 2 months of rioting that went on. So, but you didn't hear that on the news. You didn't hear that on CNN. Why? Because it didn't fit their agenda. It was news, but it didn't fit their agenda. So if they put it in the news, it was in the leading story, it was at the end of the broadcast. So they could say it was covered, but it really wasn't. And that's how they play the games. They put in front what they want you to believe is the most important. Now, what's more important to the average person? The riot of January 6th or the raising of the inflation that's causing the prices of everything to rise up? Okay. You have a big problem with the rising prices of everything. You got supply chain shortages. I mean, I've seen pictures and I've seen it myself. I went to Walmart and my daughter was with me, and the cold cut section was all gone. Now, granted, we're having a winter storm warning that's into effect Sunday to Monday that could have a play in it. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, because it probably does, but still, you have this stuff that's going around the country where there are no emergencies. So you have to remember that the news wants you to believe what they want you to believe. It's not about, CNN, MSNBC, even Fox. Let's go, all of them. Okay, they all have their bias. Okay, and they all tell you, they all give you their point of view. Now, question is, like I said with someone, I said, with this whole thing that happened, with their sedition charges that came out yesterday, if it comes out that, let's say, that they were tortured, all the evidence was evidence that was given by people who were held in solitary confinement for months, who just are saying what needs to be said in order for them to be let out of solitary confinement. So if that's going on, will CNN, MSNBC, ABC, will all those left-wing media sources, will they report it as such, or will they just ignore it and give it a non-story when it should be huge story that Americans were tortured in American prisons and forced to sign, let's say, confessions after being held in solitary confinement for months. And the media, because the left-wing media, instead of being principled and saying, hey, we're against torture, no, they'll ignore the torture and gleefully say, oh, there was sedition, when the evidence is scant at best. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You can follow me here on the Right Rican on YouTube and Rumble. Preferably, you can follow me on both. And well, I will go from there. You can interact with me in the comment section or on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, Getter, Parler, Clout Hub, Gab, all of those alternative sites. You name it, I'm on it. Right. That being said, have a good one.